You know, the last time the Kraken had a bit of a disappointing stretch of games that finished off with 3 goals in the third period at home, they went on a bit of a tear afterwards. I'm just saying, couple bad games at home, 3 goals in the third period against Columbus, and now here we are again. What's cracking, everybody, and welcome back to Kraken R&R, where for the second game in a row, the Seattle Kraken come away with points in the standings. And this time, it's 2 of them. The Kraken are able to start off their quick 2-game back-to-back road trip with a win in their first meeting against the San Jose Sharks, beating them 3-1. And since the Kraken do have a back-to-back with them playing the Ducks tomorrow night in Anaheim, or by the time you're watching this, probably tonight, we did know that Driedger was likely to start one of these games. And it turned out that he would get the start in this one. Outside of that, and thanks to the fact that fortunately no more Kraken players go into COVID protocol over the last couple of days, the only other change to the lineup is that Susi is in as a third pair defenseman, with Fleury on the bench, as well as Borgen still not getting another start after having played well in a few games. So as we jump straight into the game, starting off the third period, the Kraken are... What? Oh, you actually wanted to talk about the first 2 periods? I guess some stuff did happen. Okay, back to the beginning. As we start off the first period, the Kraken do get some early pressure. Not a ton of chances on goal, as the Sharks are doing a good job defensively of limiting the Kraken chances to the outside and just limiting Kraken chances in general, even though Seattle does spend the vast majority of the first period in the offensive zone. The Sharks do push back a little bit from time to time throughout the first period, even creating a little bit of chaos in front of the Kraken net early on. But again, it's pretty much the Kraken dominating throughout the first 20 minutes. Even if they don't get a ton of great scoring chances, with really the best 2 coming for Jared McCann, the first of which on an odd man rush, where his shot ends up going wide or maybe off of the post. Either way, it does stay out. And then the second one, he does get on net, but the save off of the backhand shot is made by Reimer. So by the end of it, we do get to that first intermission, still scoreless. And if you think that review of the first period went by quickly, well, so did the period itself, as at one point, there was 12 straight minutes without a whistle of constant play. And for those of you who might be newer to hockey, no, that's not a normal thing. Starting out the second period, this time it's clearly the Sharks who are getting the better of the play, and early on, once again, there's chaos in front of the Kraken net, and on this occasion, the puck does get past Driedger. But it also manages to stay out, as Alexiak goes in to play goaltender, with Driedger having made the save on the first shot, and he makes a save of his own on the rebound chance. Whew, dodged a bullet on that one. But we're not done with defensive heroics just yet, as shortly after this save by Alexiak, the Sharks, back in the Kraken end, get another shot off on goal, and a nice toe save by Driedger. Rebounds, unfortunately, right to Nieto, who is able to get it around the still outstretched leg of Driedger and get a shot off on the wide open net. Driedger frantically reaches back with his stick, gets just a piece of it, but it's still going into the net. Right up until Larson puts his stick right on the line and says, "No you don't," keeping this one out as well. For Larson, it's his second save in as many games, and for the Kraken, it's the second save made by a defenseman in just a few minutes. Okay, technically they go down as block shots, but they're basically saves. From there, fortunately, the Kraken are able to at least slow down the momentum that the Sharks have built up early on in the second and get the play to feel a little bit more back and forth, although the Sharks are looking much better in this second period than they did in the first, as we remain scoreless up until about 5 minutes left in the second, when Dunn gets caught for holding and heads to the box for a Sharks power play. The Seattle penalty kill unit, though, who has been hot of late, looking back in that form that they were in early on in the season, is able to kill this one off with seeming relative ease, though it does require a couple of decently easy saves on Driedger's part with his glove. But as we get back to 5-on-5 for a couple minutes to close out the period, Driedger has to make a not-so-easy save to rob Nieto of his second grade A scoring chance of the period. Fortunately, he's able to do so, and then going the other way, the Kraken get a very good chance of their own, as Appleton rebounds it off the end board behind the net, right to Johansson, who has a wide open net, and he whiffs on the shot on what would have been an easy goal, and we stay scoreless going into the second intermission. For Seattle, this is the first time that we've seen a third period start scoreless, and as we do now get into the third and through the first few minutes of it, it's really starting to seem like the first goal of this game could be the only one. And as is frequently the case in the NHL in these type of situations, when that one goal does happen, it's likely to take a weird bounce for it to get past either one of these goaltenders with how they're playing tonight. And sure enough, 6.5 minutes into the third, that's just what happens. It's Donato to Donskoy on the wing, who takes a look for a second and then shoots. Donato, after having passed to Donskoy, crashes the net and gets a tip on the Donskoy shot, but his tip just misses the 5-hole of Reimer and the save is made. Donato, though, picking up the rebound, loses it trying to go backhand to forehand to get it around Reimer, but it's in the net anyway! We said it was probably going to take a weird bounce for the first goal of this game to happen, and with Šimić crashing the net to try to defend the second chance by Donato, as Donato loses the puck, Šimić accidentally kicks it into his own net to give the Kraken the 1-0 lead. And yes, of course, with Donato getting the goal and Donskoy the assist, it's that ex-Shark line of those two and True, who also got the opening face-off of the game, that get the Kraken on the board with the first goal in the third period. Also worth noting on this one, as Donskoy does get his 14th assist of the season, and also his 14th point as he's still not allowed to score goals, it is his 200th point of his NHL career, so congratulations, Donskoy. Now let's just get him that first goal. Following the Kraken goal, the Sharks do respond quickly with a couple of good opportunities to re-tie up the game. Fortunately, neither one of them ends up converting, as one is shut down defensively before it can get to the net, and the second one takes a nice save from Driedger, who gives the glove save a little extra flourish just for good measure. Then, just a little bit later on, Geekie and Tanev get on a 2-on-1 breakaway the other way, and Reimer has to make a big save of his own to rob Tanev of the goal off of a nice beauty of a backhand pass by Geekie. However, just a few minutes after that, that same combo would not be denied for a second time. Once again, it's Geekie with the puck, this time drawing the attention of all available Sharks like he's a swimmer in the movie Jaws, and he makes another beauty of a backhand pass that finds a wide open Tanev, and this time he buries it into the back of the net past Reimer to give the Kraken the 2-0 lead. So fortunately, that one goal from earlier on isn't going to be the only one of the game. I mean, I guess it would have been fine if it was the only goal, the Kraken still would have won, but still a 2-0 lead feels a lot better. As we get to the closing minutes of the game, the Sharks do eventually pull Reimer with about 2.5 minutes left, looking to spoil the Kraken bid for their first franchise shutout. And about 30 seconds later, with 2 minutes left, they are sadly able to do so. A burn shot is blocked by Larson, but it bounces right off his skate, goes across the offensive zone, straight to a wide open Logan Couture, who has a pretty much open net to shoot at, and yeah, he's not going to miss that very often, and doesn't here. It's now 2-1 as the Sharks are able to spoil the shutout. And for Larson, who did have the puck find his stick on the goal line earlier on in the second, puck luck giveth and the puck luck taketh away. The San Jose net goes empty once again with about 1:30 left in the game, and then Driedger, playing the puck behind the Kraken net, sees that wide open net, gets big eyes and thinks to himself, "Ooh, I could have a goal all to myself." And goalie goals are fun, but Driedger's clearing attempt to try and get that is blocked by a leaping Shark in front of the Kraken net, who drops it to his stick and takes the shot, but Driedger is able to bail himself out, making a desperate diving play to do the splits in front of the Kraken goal, making the toe save to keep this one out and prevent this from becoming a 2-2 game. Woo! Yeah, that was a little too close for comfort. And eventually, in the closing seconds, Appleton is able to find Yarncroak, who finds empty net to make it 3-1 and ice this one away as the Kraken hold on to beat the Sharks. But yeah, that got a little too interesting towards the end. Still though, a win is a win, and especially a regulation win against a division rival. And for Driedger, he does end up getting back to make that save and bail himself out. And it is one of 33 saves on 34 shots that he makes over the course of the game, for a save percentage of .971, as he continues to build off of what was back-to-back strong performances before he had his second stint on the IR. So then, obviously, deservingly so, he ends up getting the first star in the game, and Donato gets the third star with a goal against his old team. And honestly, I thought that whole X-Shark line played pretty well throughout the course of this game, and that wasn't the only chance that they had, even though it was probably the best one and obviously the one that ended up counting. Also standing out in this one were definitely Geeky and Tanev with a couple of good chances, again one of those going in, as well as McCann playing pretty well in the first period, though that line did fall off a little bit as the game went on. And finally, probably the biggest story and takeaway from this game, outside of maybe how Driedger played in it, was the defensive play by the Kraken in general, as especially in the second and third period, they spent a fair amount of time in the defensive zone and did a very good job of blocking shots and limiting shots by the Sharks to the perimeter, giving Driedger a good look at any that did get through. And for Driedger's part in that, he did a very good job of limiting rebounds on those shots that did get through, really only allowing a couple of them that could have ended up costing him. Fortunately, both of those get saved by Alexiak and then Larson back-to-back at the start of the second. And even outside of how they played in the defensive zone, throughout the game, the Kraken did a very good job of limiting the odd man rush chances that the Sharks got off of either turnovers or rebounds in the offensive zone coming the other way. At first, I couldn't even remember a single odd man chance that the Kraken gave up, which definitely would have been the first time you could say that about a Kraken game. Looking back at it, there were a couple of odd man chances that the Sharks do get. Fortunately, Driedger is able to make the save on both of those, and to the Kraken credit, they played those odd man chances quite a bit better than they have in the past as well. So by the end of it, this is certainly one of, if not the best defensive game that the Kraken have played all season long, and certainly the cleanest, especially considering the only goal that ends up happening is just off of an unfortunate bounce from a blocked shot. And at least for me, I'm going to take that as a good sign of things to come for the Kraken, especially building off of that strong finish that they had against the Blue Jackets to at least salvage a point in that game, and now a win against the Sharks. We'll see if they can continue it with a back-to-back win in back-to-back games against the Ducks tomorrow night. Or again, maybe tonight based on when you're watching this. The Ducks have gotten off to a continued good start to their season, and I think we all saw that Zegras Milano goal. Whew. If you haven't seen that, you definitely need to go check it out. Either way though, if you are seeing this before that game against the Ducks, I will be doing a watch-along stream for that one. So if you want to come in and check that out, hang out and watch my reaction to that game as it happens, then please do feel free to do so. It is the first stream that I've done in about a month now, since about mid-November before Thanksgiving and all the holiday craziness. And hopefully we'll get back to doing that a little bit more regularly going forward. Until then though, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this Sharks game down below. And if you have made it to this point, thank you very much for watching. If you did like or enjoy this video, there are buttons for that stuff down below that do help out the channel. And until next time, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and go Kraken.